Hi there, Taurus. Thank you so very much for tuning in. This is your September reading, your beginning September reading. It will roughly span the time of the 1st to the 15th of the month, okay, that interval of time, rather, and it will, of course, right, perhaps permeate a little before the 1st, a little after the 15th. Of course, energy is fluid, so let's roll with it, Taurus. I was hearing, before I turned on the camera, I was meditating on your energy, and I was hearing something about franchise, okay, and practice, something about practice. Now, you have here that just popped out for you, the 9 of Pentacles upright, okay. Right beneath, I'm beckoned to mention this selenite wand, having to do with this very sort of ethereal, I'm hearing upended, also open-ended for a number of you, resource, okay, that has to do with this sort of a higher perspective, higher ground, that which may be spiritual, okay, spiritual guidance, okay. I'm hearing spiritual team as well. Now, you have the 6 of Wands upright, overlaying the 4 of Wands upright, overlaying the 2 of Cups in reverse. These are the cards that Virgo pulled. So this stack here, actually, more or less is a sequence of cards that Virgo pulled, coupled with another sort of sequence of cards. Okay, not that Virgo pulled. Yes, okay, yes. Virgo pulled all of these cards, but not together in this fashion. So there is overlap absolutely with Virgo for you. 6 of Pentacles yet again, 4 of Wands upright, both upright, 2 of Cups in reverse, 8 of Wands upright, 4 of Pentacles upright, and the Father of Pentacles upright. So, right, we'll heed this sort of overlap with Virgo having to do with finances, career, and some sort of shakeup, it seems, to whatever was our expected course. I'm hearing course of diving in. So, okay. There's a question of where we stand in relation to what it is that, there's a little bit of a confusion, Taurus. Okay, where we stand in relation to what it is we're standing for. And it's almost like, what are our positions again, right? Like, when we go on stage, like, where do I stand? Where do you stand? It's like, so something about rehearsing yet again, something about, I'm hearing maximizing by way of minimizing, I'm hearing. So it's about understanding the very fine-tuned sort of remedial. It's not like, how do I say this line in this way that is going to accurately depict the emotional undertone of what I'm trying to profess in that moment of that play. It's like, no. It's like the actual remedial, where do I stand? what am I, right? What color light needs to be on me again? I need to make sure that I'm how many centimeters away from this table, right? Like, it's something so mundane almost, so typical, so rudimentary that is a question here. And it's literally, it's a matter of perspective as well. It's like, where do I stand in relation to things? There's something about relativity for you, okay? But there's this, it's interesting because there's this approach that has to do with logic, and then there's this approach that's very intuitive. And it's almost like these two sides, these two propensities must, in a way, harmonize. They've got a place together. But the question is, where do they see each other as one? Okay. Now, you have the 3 of Pentacles sitting beneath this High Priestess, right next to this Ace of Swords in reverse. The question is, we need to, I'm hearing finance our resources. We need to build our team out. We need to harmonize and collaborate, and we know that. But knowing that is not enough. We've got to make, right, and take the steps to capacitate that knowing in the ways that set the foundation, right, of stability, that connect us, that allow us to create upon those grounds, okay? Now, but the focus, okay, it's like, and I'm getting here, it's like, It's like ego wars, so to speak, right? And hopefully not. Always, hopefully not. But the feeling I mean for a number of you, maybe, right? It's like this sort of chief sort of executive. Okay, I'm getting that sort of feeling. It's like, right? Yeah, we need to connect, right? We do need to find our common ground, yes. But, and this may be internally, right? With your own self through the creative process. But if it's you and another, okay, or you needing to come to a point of decision making, need to come to a point of clarity, okay, streamlined decision with another party, and it requires of you to come forward with this clarity, at least on your own terms, on your own part, on your own behalf. It's almost like this. It's like, yes, I know that the decision is important. The decision must be made. I know that ultimately, right, to move forward in the process, we've in some kind of way, perhaps as you may see it or as you may feel it, right, to make this forward movement with the project, we have to assimilate our resources, which are very different, right? I may take a very different approach, and you may take a very different approach. Doesn't, right, necessarily undervalue, okay, either approach, just because they're different. If anything, right, they're complementary, but it's almost like this. Even in knowing that, Taurus, and I almost said Virgo, so there may be some crossover with Virgo, but even in knowing that, the conceptualization of it is not enough. We've got to come to the point where we're literally willing to accept how different you are, how different I am, and how, right, the beauty of that can be a source of creativity. And so it's like, are you, in what ways, perhaps in the past, have you refused in a certain way, perhaps? Have you turned your back to making this decision? Okay, I'm getting honoring these two propensities of yourself, or, right, you and another in some sort of way, these two very different approaches. In what way, perhaps, have you sided more with even your intuition, more with what you felt, okay, was almost, I'm hearing storekeeping, housekeeping of your own sort of gifts, okay? In what way have you held this back from others even as well? So there's this showcasing energy of ready or not, right? Here I need to come. But, right, when am I ready for that? When am I ready to step on stage? When am I ready to, I'm hearing, consecrate these lands, to make it known that it is that they are of my own making? Okay, now you have here this Temperance card, and it's very interesting because the order, and I'm hearing the precision of this decision, of what goes into this decision, the making and the turning of these wheels is what sets the tone for the rest of, right, what comes. And it's almost like you got to get everything in order here in terms of, and this may have to do with the past. Okay, I'm getting this strongly that this is sort of a dynamic that's been pulled from the past, and it is Mercury retrograde until about the 5th of September. But of course, right, there is that post-shadow period of Mercury retrograde, which may permeate about 2 weeks after the 5th. So around the 19th or so, Mercury goes direct. So if you're making a really big decision, right? Well, that's one thing. If you're making a really big decision, you may want to wait until about the 19th. If it's very, very important to you, right? You may want to make sure that even it's past that post-shadow period. But in addition, right, it's like this may be a time for you to review, to really come to terms with what it is that has been, I'm hearing like a stump in our thorn, not a thorn in our side, but a stump in our thorn. Take it as you will, Taurus. I'm hearing Virgo for you again, but there's this a recognition, okay, it's like we can't go anywhere until we both budge, right? Not just one of us, but both of us. We both got to budge because we both have two wheels to this machine, to this car, right? It's like, you're in the front, I'm in the back, I'm in the back, you're in the front, or I'm on the left, you're on the right, vice versa. Either way that you want to cut it, or shape it, or name it, we are playing parts, equal parts, in equal measure, in the greater movement of this whole. And so that is your focus point, Taurus, that's your focus point, the very beginning, the budging. I'm getting the budging here, okay? Now, and right, Taurus is a very steadfast sort of energy, absolutely. And so it's a question of, right, yeah, I want to make my movement forward, but I understand that I'm hearing at the mercy of odds, of polarity, of needing to merge that polarity, okay? And so I'm hearing appreciation of tone, appreciating the tone, something about the tone. Now, but there, it's like, almost like this. You, yourself, and everyone else around you maybe, perhaps, okay, are waiting for this decision, are waiting for this moment of merging, of creativity, of creation, of siding with the clarity that, yes, right, we are so distinct, and yet we are so, at the same time, magnetized. I'm hearing made for each other, right, as different as we are, right, yet again, that is complementary in a way that is unforgettable. I'm hearing unforgettable. And it's a matter of making do, okay, making do of the past, what it is that you want it to create and mean of your future. Okay, something to do about transmuting this energy in the past and thinking about, right, and contributing your resources, your emotional resources especially, and your nurturing resources, your intuitive resources, your mothering, healing resources into creativity, into the long term. And it's that junction, okay, of where right, we feel so polar, we feel so different from those around us, and especially those, right, with whom we feel we've got to comply with in some sort of way, that we've got to harmonize with, that brings us closer to our objective, right? It's at that moment where it doesn't become any longer about how are we so different. It becomes about, yes, we're different. Of course we're different. In a way, it's like, obviously we're different. We were made for each other. I'm hearing that. But of course, right, general reading, Taurus, take it as you will, okay, but it's no longer a matter of that, of discerning the difference. It's a matter of understanding how that difference and all of those differences come back around the mountain to merge with one another and mean something much greater. I'm hearing for the whole, okay, for the whole. I'm hearing for the greater body of movement, okay? So, it's like this. It doesn't matter if my left leg is my left leg. It doesn't matter if my right leg is my right leg. My left hand, my left hand, my right hand, my right. It's like, why would I sit here and right, hold my hands so far apart from each other? Right, and say, and it's like this, I almost said Virgo again, Taurus. It's like this. Imagine that you're like in the process of sewing this knit sweater, this chunky knit sweater. I'm just imagining something. And you've got so many balls of yarn everywhere. But then you stop in the middle of the process and you're like, wait, everyone. I have two, right, a very, almost like polar limbs, okay, that serve very sort of different purposes. Okay, I'm focusing on their differences. It's my left and my right. Okay, that which connects to the right hemisphere of my brain and the left hemisphere of my brain that have very different sort of motor control. I'm hearing assets, okay, and accounts that are overseeing different processes, okay, processes, and it's like this. It's like you're holding your hands apart, and you just drop all the yarn, and you're holding your hands apart, and you're looking from your left hand to your right hand to your left hand, and everything is held in suspension. And your focus in that moment is, right, how different your left hand is from your right. But then you come to this point, Taurus, I said Virgo again. Taurus, Virgo, Taurus is like they're just enmeshed. There's this enmeshed feeling. As much as you want to hold them apart from each other, right? The hands come eventually back to each other, and you realize it doesn't matter, right, that I have a left hand and a right hand. It doesn't matter that they're so different from each other, right? That they're so far from each other in a certain way, because in a way they're meant to come together. So I can continue to sew the sweater. Okay, so you realize that, and the question is, right? How can I make it so that the coordination, right? I'm building on my coordination skills, so to speak, of collaborating, okay, with my differences, be it your indifferences within yourself, or right, those two propensities within yourself, which we all have, masculine, feminine, yin, yang, whatever it may be, however you may take it, Taurus, I said Virgo again, or those, right, between you and another, right, you and many others, right, whatever it may be for you. But there's this waiting, this hankering, this readiness, okay, this holding of the breath. And it's like everybody, let's say, is like watching you knit the sweater, or was watching you knit the sweater, and then they see you, like, you drop the yarn and you're holding your hands apart, and everyone is like, what? Like, we want it. What happens next? What colors are you going to sew together next? We were waiting, right? It's like that kind of feeling. So it's about transmutation. I'm getting that for you, Taurus, strongly here. And it's held in the perception, okay? I'm getting in the perception of it. Now, okay, you have here the, okay, but I'm begging to mention this as well to you, Taurus. It's like this, right? As, let's say, different, right, functions as your left hand and your right hand serve, right, in your body, in the greater network of your body. Again, the focus is on how you perceive that difference or that similarity, right? They're both hands, they're both arms. They both ultimately contribute to the process, of creativity. But it's a matter of, right, how I, yet again, stand in relation to both as independent I'm hearing icons, okay, bodies, embodiments of myself and my spirit and my ability, okay. And also, right, as one and the same. How do I, right, if I hold my hands like this, right, they look very similar. If I hold my hands like this and I focus on the differences, then they feel very polar in a way, okay? It's all held in your perception in either sort of dimension. So, again, that relativity sort of focus coming in for you. You have this Father of Pentacles, though, looking over at the Four of Pentacles, looking over at the Eight of Wands, the Two of Cups in reverse, the Four of Wands upright, the Six of Pentacles upright. There's a question of I'm hearing, how do we grow? How do we grow from here? There's been a question of this, okay? And I'm getting in the past, there's been a question of this. This has been a theme. How, with what we're working with our resources, I'm hearing with our talent agency, how do we thrive? How do we multiply, okay, from the point that we're at? And there may be one fundamental source of, I'm hearing also creative and financial, okay, backing in a certain way. It's like whatever this financial source is, it's intermingled with the creative sort of means as well. So it's like there's a fusion, okay, of approach here. And this may be representing your very own energy, right? You may be sustaining whatever it is that you're creating, and right, whatever you're creating is sustaining you, right? Vice versa. But there's this almost this meagerness of approach, and this also this sort of step-by-step, very, very tiptoeing in the dark sort of feeling, okay, with the process that you're taking on with whatever this growth is. And you're remaining focused, okay, on setting these foundations in preparation for change, okay? And your focus, you have two fours here mirroring each other, Four of Wands, Four of Pentacles. Your focus is on I'm hearing save for a rainy day. How do I almost perceive, right, the process outside of the process? How do I ensure that where I take myself through the process, right, gets me out on the other end, okay, on the other side of it, in such a way where I'm not bound to it, okay? And it may be pertaining to matters of collaboration yet again, but there's a question of, right, what comes up is for your review, and there's perhaps a question of how do I, right, resurface from here? How do I take the measures needed to reset my foundation in a certain way, perhaps, but according to the ways that I see myself beyond this stage, beyond this transformation, beyond whatever shakeup may come in a certain way, to what I thought, right, made sense to me about the process. Okay, so thank you so very much, Taurus, for tuning into your video. I hope this reading was helpful for you, and I highly recommend you to check out your rising, ascendant, or moon sign as well, as oftentimes those may provide you with further insights into your situation. For example, I know I resonate a lot with my moon sign, even more than my sun sign sometimes, so you may want to check that video out, or those videos out rather. Also, your Venus sign may play a part in regards to finances, relationships, in regards to matters of love, however you deem love. So if you don't know your signs, you can click the link below in the description box that I provide, and that will compute them for you. All right, so thank you so very much again. I almost said Virgo, Taurus, for tuning in. Virgo very much wants to speak to you, so you may want to check that video out. But have a beautiful August and September, and I'll see you in hopefully about a week or so with your mid-September reading. And I'm getting this straining feeling on my ring finger on my left hand, Taurus. Whatever this may mean to you, take it as you will. Okay, and I know also some of you have been asking if I do personal readings, and I do. You can find my services on my website, alchemyinu.com, link in the description box below, and that will lead you to the site where you can read more about the services that I offer. All right, so thank you so very much for tuning in, Taurus. Again, have a beautiful August, beginning of September, and I'll see you soon. Bye.